Hi, I'm sure that everyone has been following the Black Lives Matter movement and the recent protests in response to the wrongful death of George Floyd. So my presentation today is about the recent event that was in support of the Black Lives Matter movement called Blackout Tuesday. Blackout Tuesday was on June 2nd, and it was a social media movement that was intended to demonstrate solidarity and reflection after George Floyd's death. Basically, people all around the world would post a black screen to their social media accounts. Most of the ones I saw were on Instagram, but I believe it spread across all social media platforms. And there were even many celebrities who posted to their very famous accounts for Blackout Tuesday. A few examples being Cardi B, Drake, John Mayer, Justin Bieber, Madonna. And here I have a few examples on my phone that I can show you. And this is Tom Brady's post, and we have Rihanna and Katy Perry. So you can't really see their captions, but you can see that it's just a blank black screen that they post. And these celebrities I just showed you did a good job of using the Blackout Tuesday hashtag instead of the Black Lives Matter hashtag, which I will discuss the importance of in a minute. According to a New York Times article I read titled #Blackout Tuesday, a music industry protest becomes a social media movement. This idea began as brands such as Spotify, Apple, and TikTok said they were going to pause business for Tuesday, June 2nd, in response and support of the protests that are sweeping the nation. The movement started in the music industry because people had immensely benefited from black artists. So as it became more well known, many people decided to join in for Blackout Tuesday. And that's why there was such a large number of black screens posted on June 2nd. However, there were some problems with Blackout Tuesday, which resulted in some backlash from numerous supporters of the Black Lives Matter movement. The New York Times article stated that what began as a proposed day of reflection after the death of George Floyd morphed into something broader, leading some to complain that the #Black Lives Matter posts were being silenced. First of all, I think it needs to be made clear that Blackout Tuesday had great intentions, and I do think that it showed many people coming together to support the movement. However, the major problem with it was that when people were posting the black screen, they would use the #Black Lives Matter. So when people would look under the hashtag for information, the whole thing would be filled up with black screens. This caused essential information to be lost in the post of the black screens, and this essential information being like the locations and times of protests, what was going on in the investigation of George Floyd's death, petitions that needed to be signed, information on how to be an ally to the Black Lives Matter movement. So really, all the important information that was being shared was being drowned out in the black screens. And in a CNN article titled "Why Posting a Black Image with the Black Lives Matter hashtag Could Be Doing More Harm Than Good," there is a quote from Kenedra Woods, who is a mental health advocate and Black Lives Matter activist, where she says, "We know that it's no intent to harm, but to be frank, this essentially does harm the message. We use the hashtag to keep people updated. Please stop using the hashtag for black images." So given this information, we can see that using social media posts and hashtags as a medium of delivery can be useful if done correctly, and some positive characteristics being the information is easily accessible for those who have social media accounts, and the information cannot be filtered or changed in between being posted and being seen online. And the information can be seen by more people versus if the information was just put in the newspaper or something like that. So, because everything is more online now. So when people are using the Black Lives Matter hashtag with useful information, it's a great way to spread awareness and to show support for the movement. But on the other hand, using social media posts and hashtags as a medium of delivery has the potential to not be a good way to spread information, as seen by the Blackout Tuesday posts. Some negative characteristics of doing this being losing the intended message of creating the hashtag. There's no control of what can be posted to the hashtag, and there are people who have social media. There are people who do not have social media, so they would not be able to see the important information. And as for the connection between social media posts and the message behind Blackout Tuesday, the message was good. It was very clear that the people who posted a black screen wanted to publicly show their support for people of color and the Black Lives Matter movement. However, Blackout Tuesday ended up making the message behind the Black Lives Matter movement harder to recognize because it made the information harder to find. So the message was good, but the execution turned out to be poor and ended up taking away space for the important information to be shared. When it started to become public knowledge that this was happening, I did notice that people would delete their posts of the black screen if it had a Black Lives Matter hashtag and repost it with a Blackout Tuesday hashtag instead. So people did try to change their posts to solve the problem, but unfortunately it was not enough and the hashtag was still flooded with black screens. What I think could have been a solution to this unforeseen problem would have been if there were just no black screens posted. The original plan was for music companies to not conduct any business on June 2nd. So if that was the only thing that would have been done, I think it would have been fine. It would have been a great way to show support for Black Lives Matter. And I believe that it would have been more beneficial for people to share things like petitions, charities, places to donate, and actual information in regards to how to help create change instead of literally just a blank screen. So in conclusion, I think that the idea of Blackout Tuesday was good, and it did show that a lot of people care and support the movement, but it also took away from the bigger picture of trying to educate ourselves and others because the information was becoming more difficult to find during that time. And looking at the Black Lives Matter hashtag now, it's not flooded with black screens because it's been almost 2 weeks. So the effects of the blank screens didn't last too long because the hashtag is now back to relatively how it looked before Blackout Tuesday. So that's all I have today, and thank you for listening.